It's the Luna Show.
Hello, you're watching The Luna Show, and right now you're about to meet a young man who's very powerful in the work that he does. And I wanted to do this show because he dabbles in ballroom, he dabbles in the kiki scene, he's involved in many projects that involve the community, and I wanted to bring light to that because we often don't celebrate the people that are doing the work, if you know what I mean. So this is a tribute to all the young people that are doing the work, and thank you, Jazzy, for this. So, Jaszi Khan. Nice view. Hi, Jazzy.
Hey.
This is hot.
Yeah, welcome to my office. We're here at the new GMHC, the Gay Men's Health Crisis.
So the legendary GMAC, it's an organization in New York City that services like thousands of people from the LGBTQ community, like every year. And we got a new space. It's upgraded. Looks awesome now. It looks very corporate America.
Yeah, GMHC has been around for 30 years practically, almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been going since, well, when I first was introduced to GMAC was in 2002 through the House of Latex project. Actually, I was getting introduced through the scene through the latex
Oh,
thing.
so you started with the House of Latex? Or?
No, I actually started with the House of Manola Blahnik. Luna Khan. Years ago. Hi. No, years ago, when I was a young person, Luna recruited me as a face child for the House of Blahnik, Butch Queen Face, and I kind of went under his wing. And that's back when, like, Brenda Revlon, Pony, Zion, like, all of them, Michael Grisant, they were all Blahniks. So that's when, like, Blahniks was, like, at its peak with a bunch of superstars. That I joined the house, and I was one of the younger ones. Me and Champagne Icon joined together. And that's, like, my sister. Big ups to Champagne. But it was awesome back then. And over the years, I went from being a Blahnik to a Con. You know, I keep with the Extravas for a while. And, you know, so now I'm back to being a Con again. Because, you know, that's my home.
And what do you walk? Pretty Boy Realness?
Yeah, I walked Pretty Boy Runners. I actually walked in L.A. And, you know, did my thing out there.
So you met the cons out there in LA?
Yeah, big up to the cons in L.A. CJ, Cash, Yaya, all y'all. You
the
know,
Father Cage.
Cage, Asia. So LA was awesome. I've actually gone to LA a few times through my job, and it's kind of cool because I've been able to work and get trainings and become a professional.
So that's what's interesting about you is that you're a young person who dabbled in ballroom and the kiki scene and other scenes, and here you are now, a mature young man. You're 25 now, right?
Yeah, I just turned 25.
25 years old. You are training and doing things that are very powerful in the community. Tell us what influences you to do that, to become so involved.
Well, honestly, it all trails back to when I was younger. And when I was younger, I had a hard time growing up in New York City. I had a hard time growing up as a gay youth. I had a hard time growing up just in poverty, you know what I mean? That's the story, you know what I mean? I was the young Latin boy from the Bronx, you know what I mean? Trying to struggle, trying to hustle, trying to make it. And I just always thought to myself, if I wanted my life to really be, you know, extravagant, I was the one that had to make it that way. And if I was a victim for too long, it was for me to reinvent myself. So over time, I just grew up, I matured, I learned a lot of lessons. Becoming HIV positive when I was in high school also flipped around a whole new script for me because I got to appreciate my life and my health a lot more. And I felt like back then I was very confused, I was very lost and scattered. And through all those kind of experiences, I grew up and blossomed into like this swan, if you if you will. It's like the ugly duckling story. And to answer your question, I find it very important to give back to the community because now that I've been able to get myself to a place where I'm healthy, you know, I'm learning, I'm having trainings, you know, I have a great job here at JMAC. I'm a community health specialist now. I've just been on this road of climbing up to a place of success. So I feel like it's always good and important to give back to the people in our community and those less fortunate and just like elevate the community because if I'm going to elevate myself, I need to make sure my whole community, my whole team, like, is just upgraded. So it's just important for me to give back. Like, I find fulfillment and I get some validation in that because it's important for me to see other people achieve and succeed and know that they matter. So it's
that's
rewarding.
important.
It's rewarding, and it's also awesome because like there aren't a lot of young people or young adults out there who are taking it seriously and who are like really trying to be activists and advocates and really just push and represent for the community. And that's what I'm about. Like, I love activism, advocating, you know what I mean? I'm a poster child in many different campaigns. Not to like just get life and be cute. I mean, it's fun, but it's really to just be a representation Be a positive representation.
Especially when there aren't that many representations that look like us.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? I would love to see, cute young Latin men really just doing it up. You know what I mean? And so therefore, if I'd love to see that, or just young gay men, period, or young people.
And you've been a part of a few campaigns, like the famous "I Love My Boo" campaign in New York City.
But it was also important for the gay community to see love and loving in the gay life in like a positive light. You know what I mean? Growing up, I always saw like gays as like the loca on the block that was like all loud and cunty and feminine, or like promiscuity. And then being promiscuous and having wild sex and stuff like that. So when given the opportunity to be part of a project that it's like, okay, gay people are going to be seen in a loving way, in like an authentic way, in a masculine way, like they don't always have to be like this big old queen, you know what I mean? So when being
it's okay being a queen.
No, it's fine. I mean, it's fine because some of my best friends are like the biggest queens. Like, it's fine.
Well, you were a big queen once too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was. I have no shame in my game. You know what I mean? And I still like to cut up with my friends sometimes.
We're all queens, darling.
Like Lady Gaga says, don't be a drag, just be a queen. No, but I just I wanted to do it because I just wanted to really show that you don't have to fit into the stereotypes of what people think gay is. And gay is open, honestly. Gay, anybody could be gay. No matter what age, no matter what look, no matter how masculine or feminine. You know what I mean? It's not really a choice. It's just kind of like out there for us to be who we are. This is my new campaign. You can catch it all over 125th Street and on 14th Street. We're still here, still taking care of ourselves, still protecting you. Jazzy Positive since 2005. And it's with HIVstopswithme.org. I wound up becoming HIV positive, and I was in like my senior year, I think, of high school, and it just tore my whole world apart because I got really depressed and I became very isolated. You know what I mean? Smoking weed was like all I wanted to do, and it was just like I needed that escape from the reality, and I couldn't really deal with reality. But over time, with support, with friends being there, with people behind my side, like Luna was one of the greatest people who was there for me because I got to learn a lot from him and whatnot. My dad, my sister, a lot of people. Just eventually, I wound up seeing that they really did care. And I guess you see that when you really go through bad situations, who's really there for you, who's not. And it wasn't the easiest thing to accept or be open with, but I found comfort in really just being open with myself because I was like, you know what, it's going to be here for the rest of my life. Like, why lie about it? You know what I mean? Why not just be open about it? So when I became open about it, that was the biggest healing process for me, because as scary as it was, as scary as it still is, to like step up to that plate, it also brings a sense of acceptance for me, from other people to me, and it's just like that opened up a whole new world of how I can deal with hardships and deal with struggles, kind of like face it in the face and go on it head on, and like don't be afraid, because fear is what enables you, and we find our most power in our vulnerability. And I've learned that, especially more recently.
What do you think about HIV/AIDS in the ballroom community? What do you think we need to do to empower more young people?
See, the ballroom community is a tricky thing because, for the most part, in my experience, it's a do or die place. Like, you have to have the backbone, you have to have the shady attitude. You don't have to, but you just have to be able to like not take no bullshit, and you gotta have tough skin, in the ballroom scene. And a lot of people that I've met with that kind of persona way of being are very headstrong, and when it comes to HIV and AIDS, if they don't want to hear it, they won't hear it. Like, it's like, if I don't want to hear it, I won't hear it. So it's in a way like there has to be some type of way around it or manipulation to actually get people to like understand it and accept that it's an important thing. So personally, what I think they should do is just put it in people's faces. Like, show them the effects of being on meds. Show them like the severity of how it affected people back in the days. Because nowadays, like, it's just so many people getting it that it's honestly a little sad. And it's like, as much knowledge is out there and as much as people know, like, why are people still exposing themselves? You know why? One thing that I think is that, in my experience, from what I know of people, there's like an attachment of intimacy to like bodily fluids and to like body touching and stuff, and people feel, I guess, more connected when these kind of engagements happen, and the condom is like a barrier that's like not intimate, from what I've understand from some people's explanations. And it's just I don't understand how intimacy and the pleasure and the passion of like having bare backing or flesh to flesh or exchanging of bodily fluids can override like one's self-worth and how they feel like they matter. And I'm not saying people who are positive or people who have HIV don't matter or that they're wrong or anything. No. I'm saying that if you can avoid it, avoid it. Like, for real, avoid it. I mean, there's condoms. You can have so much fun with condoms. There are other types of, you know, fun things you can do with sex. And then there are other things you can do that are not exactly sex. Like, I feel like if people just explore their horizons and really be in a conversation like that they matter, they won't expose themselves and they won't let other people have the power over them.
Do you think that it's
You
the
know?
job of the adults in the community to empower young people? Like the house parents and things like
Definitely, definitely. I mean, there have been people who are like legends and icons in here for years, and they're survivors. Like, regardless if they're like infected or not, they're still survivors because they've been able to like override over like the 80s, 90s, even into the 2000s, and like stand the test of time. And like being in the scene, it's not easy to be in the scene for years, honestly, and like still keep up yourself and still keep a reputation of like positivity and stuff. Not a lot of people have done it. It's very easy to get caught in the he said, she said, and the bullshit of the scene and stuff. But I just feel like those who have power, those who have reputation, those who are looked up to should utilize it in a sense of actually like teaching and being mentors and like reaching out to especially the younger generations, because there are so many young people like they're coming up and I see them at the Kiki function, I see them at Real Balls, and they're just so like on it, so energized, so full of life. And they really just need some guidance into a positive direction. Mm-hmm. I'm glad to say that someone, you know, stood up for me and was like, I'm going to help you go into a positive direction. And like 2-3 years ago, I was just like being a peer educator, shawamming, going to balls, like not going to school, whatever. Like, and now I actually like have a career and I'm like on a good path. And like, I'm trying to really do something for the community. And I mean, I'm not perfect. No one is perfect, but we're perfect in our imperfections. And I feel that as long as I can strive, you know, to be better, and anytime I fail, recommit to actually striving to be stronger. Like, that's all I really need, is to just have that motivation to keep pushing. And sometimes, especially in the scene, in the ballroom scene, some of us lose the motivation to really, you know, push ourselves to be great and stuff like that. And for many reasons, for being like gay bashed, or for not being accepted, for issues with our family, for issues with our lovers. Like, we're always trying to find some type of like way of feeling better about ourselves and about our situations. And I just feel better in a way that'll push you to forward yourself. Feel better in a way that will like get you success. You know what I mean? Network with people that'll actually push you to where you want to go. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm about. That's what I feel like a lot of people should encourage each other in the scene to be about. Is just really bettering yourself and being successful, because you have one life to live, and you know it is what you make it. Well, Alizé was my ballroom name. Not in the beginning, actually, when I was a blonde, but when I kind of like started to do like voguing categories and runway categories, I wanted like a unisex name because I had this whole androgynous drag boy thing going on. Like, it was always mixing up. One of my favorite ballroom figures is Vivica Mugler, and I love how she can turn it in butch queen categories and drag categories. You know what I mean? And I was kind of like somewhat like that, and so my nickname or alias was Alizé, especially like when, you know, I was swinging my mane and dipping.
That's when you had your really long hair.
Yeah, so I had my really long hair. I cut it when I reinvented myself, and it's not about it's not about totally changing myself, but it's about like the upgrade. And I grew up, and you know, so I'm a young man now, and I'm Jazzy. That's my name, and that's what I go by everywhere: school, family, home, like whatever, work. And Alizé is always this figure that I guess will be in me, like Beyonce's Sasha Fierce or whatever. And it's the wild, it's the crazy side, it's the side that likes to have fun, and it's kind of like a good youthful memory that I have. And you know, you never know, Alizé may come back out one.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, thank you for this.
Thank you, Luna.
And any last words?
Just
more words.
Make sure you just love yourself and you take care of yourself and take care of your body and just like live. If you have a dream, like go for it. For real, like go for it. Like there's no one getting in your way but you. Mm-hmm. And that's something I'm still learning and dealing with. Right. But yeah, and if you want to check out Jazzy, you can check out hivstopswithme.org or just come by GMAC for any of the services you may need.
Thank you. Yes, the view.